All right, ladies and gentlemen, this is the reading portion of the Guns, Germs, and Steel document found in for this assignment. I'll be reading through the document, so if you like following along, by all means, stick around. Also, if you're having any questions about terminology or what things mean, this will be a good video to go along with because I'll be explaining words and kind of what they mean or where places are in the world, if that helps you. All right, so without further ado, let's go ahead and check out our document. Right, so this starts off with an important map. This is the map we're going to be referencing a lot when we talk about the axis of the continents. So we see that line AB is Eurasia, which is a east-west aligned continent. Line CD is Africa. It is a north-south aligned continent. Now, I know that it looks like we could also say it's east-west because of that top part in the north, but actually that's the Sahara Desert. Not a lot of people live there, so for the most part, Africa is a north-south alignment. And the one we're familiar with, line EF, would be the Americas, a very north-south aligned continent, although it does kind of spread a little bit east-west in places, but nowhere near as much as the north-south alignment. So this section we're going to read here is a book by Jared Diamond. He's one of the authors that I base his class on. So let's scroll on down to the introduction. Too far. Just right. Okay. The following quotations are taken from Jared Diamond's book, Guns, Germs, and Steel, The Fates of Human Societies, from pages 176 to 189. These quotations summarize his ideas about the relationship of the geographic axis of the continents, as conventionally defined, to differences in human technological development. For more information, read Jared Diamond's book, Chapter 10, Spacious Skies and Tilted Axis. Okay, so that's the introduction, and here's the rest of his reading. Now, I will try to interrupt every once in a while and explain certain words. Things I know that'll pop up a lot will be like contrast, which will mean tell the difference. Diffusion, referring to like spreading out. So like human and plant diffusion, he means when people migrate. Not only they migrate in directions, but they kind of spread out into new areas. Germination is a seed that begins to grow. Trying to think what other terms pop up a lot, but anyway, I'll get to them when I get to them. Otherwise, let's go and start reading. On the map of the world, compare the shapes and the orientations of the continents. You'll be struck by an obvious difference. The Americas span a much greater distance north-south, about 9,000 miles, than east-west, only 3,000 miles at its widest. That is, a major axis of the Americas is north-south. The same is true for Africa. In contrast, the major axis of Eurasia is east-west. What effect, if any, did those differences in orientation of the continent's axis have on human history? Axis orientations affected the rate of the spread of crops and livestock, and possibly also of writing, wheels, and other inventions. What basic feature of geography thereby contributed heavily to the very different experiences of Native Americans, Africans, and Eurasians in the last 500 years? Just as some regions proved much more suitable than others for the origins of food production, the ease of its spread also varied greatly around the world. At the one extreme was its rapid spread along east-west axis, from southwest to Asia, both west to Europe, and east to the Indus Valley. I'm going to pause real quick. From southwest Asia, he's going to later refer to as Mesopotamia. I know we haven't talked about it yet, but Mesopotamia, southwest Asia, or as we call it, the Middle East, is arguably where most historians believe agriculture and civilization began. So we're seeing a lot of spread east and west from that Middle East we're talking about. Where did I leave off? At the one extreme is this rapid spread along east-west axis from southwest Asia, Mesopotamia, both west to Europe and east to the Indus Valley. And from the Philippines east to Polynesia. At the opposite extreme is the slow spread along north-south axis, like from Mexico northward to the US and to the eastern United States, and from Peru north into Ecuador. So here we're referencing places in the Americas and how they spread north-south very, very slowly. Why was the spread of crops from the Fertile Crescent, Southwest Asia, so rapid? Localities distributed east and west of each other at the same latitude share exactly the same length of day and seasonal variations, the season or climate. To a lesser degree, they also tend to share similar disease, regimes in temperature and rainfall, and habitats or biomes, types of vegetation. The germination, growth, and disease resistance of plants are adapted to precisely those features of climate. Seasonal changes of day length, temperature, and rainfall constitute signals that stimulate seed germination, signaling to grow and mature plants to develop flowers, seeds, and fruit. Animals, too, are adapted to latitude-related features of climate. Thus, Eurasia's east-west axis allowed the Fertile Crescent crops quickly to launch agriculture all over the band of temperate latitudes from Ireland to the Indus Valley. Now, contrast that to the ease of east-west diffusion in Eurasia with the difficulty of diffusion along Africa's north-south axis. Similarly, the spread southward of Fertile Crescent's domesticated animals throughout Africa was slowed by climate and disease. So all the things we just mentioned about the ease of plants and animals on similar seasonal variations, similar climate, is an east-west similarity. Similar seasons does not exist north-south. Contrast also to the ease of diffusion in Eurasia to its difficulties along America's north-south axis. The distance between Mesoamerica and South America is only 1,200 miles. That's the difference between South America and Mexico. Mexico meaning Mesoamerica. That's only 1,200 miles. Now that's approximately the same distance in Eurasia separating the Balkans, which is Greece, from Mesopotamia. So because they're on an east-west axis, the Fertile Crescent spreading to Greece was actually pretty quick. That same distance being South America to Mexico, because it's on a north-south axis, actually was very, very slow, if any. The cool highlands of Mexico would have provided ideal conditions for raising llamas, guinea pigs, and potatoes, all domesticated in the cool highlands of South American Andes. Yet, the northward spread of those Andean species was stopped completely by the hot intervening lowland of Central America. Latitude. I went too far. Latitude, that east-west line. Latitude is a major determinant of climate, growing conditions, and the ease of spread of food production. However, latitude is of course not the only determinant, and it is not always true that adjacent places of the same latitude have the exact same climate. Topographical and ecological barriers were locally important obstacles to diffusion. So they're just saying it's not that perfect east-west alignment. They also know there's other geographic barriers like major oceans or mountains or highland or lowland areas can affect that. So that concludes the reading portion of the Guns, Germs, and Steel. We have another video that helps explain the worksheet if you have any questions with that. That having been said, thank you very much, and good luck.